Now, this story is absolutely insane. It's about a 17-year-old man, young man out of Wisconsin, out of Waukesha County. His name is Nilkita Casap. And what he did was just absolutely nuts. In this video, I'm going to break down what this young man did and how it all flows with President Trump, because when you hear it, it's going to blow your mind. So I'm not going to waste too much time on this video. I'm going to get right into it, and then I'll let you see the video clip of what's going on. So as you see here, FBI says Wisconsin teen accused of parents' murder did so as part of a plot to assassinate Trump. Agency alleges Nilkita Casap, 17, was trying to acquire the financial means and autonomy to unalive the president and overthrow the government. This is just another example of these left-wing extremist libtards, the mental programming that they're doing to people. Think about all the violence that's breaking out right now. I mean, even the governor of Pennsylvania, I'm not sure if you heard it, Josh Shapiro, his house was set on fire on Passover. And I saw somebody on X say, oh, where's the MAGA crowd to talk about this one? MAGA has always been against violence. As a matter of fact, there's not one violent activity that's taken place that they say, oh, that's MAGA. And I'm even including January the 6th, because now we find out we got people like Ray Epps, who was an FBI associate, who was the one telling everybody let's go in. Then we hear about the 27 FBI confidential informants that was there on the ground, 17 of which entered the Capitol building. None were arrested. I'm not even sure if you knew that they existed, but this really happened. So January the 6th, that was the worst, most non-violent coup attempt I've ever seen in my life. No weapons, and they were let in by police, Capitol Police, given tours and all of this crap. And the Democrats just used it as a political football to toss back and forth. Every time that they do something stupid, they always want to throw that up. But look at what it's doing to the young people. Look at the people in Chicago. Let me go through it with this young man. Now get into the video. A Wisconsin teenager charged in the unaliving. Remember, on YouTube, they zing you for certain words. A Wisconsin teenager charged in the unaliving of his parents faces wider allegations that he unalived them to obtain the financial means to unalive President Trump and overthrow the government, according to a recently unsealed federal warrant. Nilkita Casap, 17, was charged last month by the Waukesha County authorities with first-degree murder, theft, and other crimes in the unalivings of his mother, Tatiana Casap, and his stepfather, Donald Mayer. Authorities allege the teenager fatally shot them at their home outside of Milwaukee in February and lived with the decomposing bodies for weeks before fleeing with $14,000 in cash, passports, and the family dog. He was arrested last month in Kansas. This is the young man right there. Look at those eyes. Let me see if I can take it down a little bit. Look at his eyes, man. He's gone. He's gone, like a whole lot of these left-wing extremist libtards. Casap in custody at the Waukesha County Jail on a $1 million bond, is due in court next month to enter a plea. County prosecutors have offered a glimpse of the federal allegations, which were outlined in the FBI warrant until Friday. Federal authorities accused Casap of planning his parents' unaliving, buying a drone and explosive, and sharing his plans with others, including a Russian speaker. His intentions are detailed in the 3-page anti-Semitic manifesto praising Adolf Hitler. And this man wanted to unalive Trump, but he's praising Hitler. He's kicking it with Russians. Sounds to me like the left-wing extremist libtards got to him, and his parents, their lives are gone because of this whack job programming. It's insane. The warrant filed at the federal court in Milwaukee also contains excerpts of communications on TikTok and the Telegram Messenger app. Casap appears to have written a manifesto calling for the assassination of President of the United States. He was in touch with other parties about his plan to unalive the president and overthrow the government of the United States. The search warrant says the unaliving of his parents appeared to be an effort to obtain the financial means and autonomy necessary to carry out his plan. Only a child would think $14,000 in an idea is enough to take the life of the leader of the free world. In court, prosecutors allege Casap was in touch with a person who speaks Russian and shared a plan to flee to Ukraine. So he's speaking with a Russian about getting to Ukraine, even though Russia and Ukraine is at a war. It sounds like to me this boy was getting played and misled by a lot of people and wasn't all together. I mean, obviously. Authorities found him in Kansas with money, passports, a car, and the family's dog. At least he didn't hurt the dog. Federal prosecutors allege Casap's manifesto outlined his reasons for wanting to unalive Trump, and included ideas about how he would live in Ukraine. Citing Casap's writing, the federal warrant said the teenager wanted to spur governmental collapse by getting rid of the president and perhaps the vice president. Phone and online messages seeking comment were left Sunday for Casap's public defender, Nicole Ostrowski. In court last month, she moved to dismiss some of the charges against her client, including theft, arguing that prosecutors had not laid out their case. She also noted her client's age during court proceeding. He's still young. He's still in high school, she said on March 12th. That's BS. At 17 years old, you know right from wrong. You know what you're doing. I graduated high school on my 18th birthday. So I was 17 years old and I was, well, now, do we make dumb decisions? Yes. But you're aware of right and wrong. You know what happens if you take the life of somebody else, especially your parents. Age has nothing to do with this. Now, mental acuity does. County authorities also charged Casap with hiding a corpse, theft, and misappropriating identification to obtain money. Officers found the bodies of Tatiana Casap, 35, and Meyer, 51, on February 28. Family members requested a well-being check after Meyer didn't report for work and Nilkita Casap skipped school for about 2 weeks. Authorities believe the parents were unalived weeks earlier. Prosecutors said in court that the couple's bodies were so badly decomposed that they had to be identified through dental records. So you got this young man living in the house with his unalived parents talking about wanting to take the life of the president and speaking with a Russian to live in Ukraine. That is insane. Oh my God. So right here is the news clip that's going to break it down a little bit more. And do me a solid. If you're enjoying the video so far, hit that like button. I'll never ask you for a cash app. I'll never ask you for a super chat, but you hitting that like button, it really does help spread the channel around. And if you aren't subscribed, subscribe to the channel. When you do, hit the notification bell and select all. That way you'll be notified when I upload new videos. All right. So I'm going to get off into this clip.
A double homicide investigation in Waukesha takes a turn. The FBI is now linking the teen accused of killing his parents to an assassination plot targeting President Donald Trump.
It's awful, to be honest, because it's like kids and teenagers are exposed to so many things these days as it is.
Some people who live in the area are alarmed by these new details unsealed Friday in federal court. The documents detail a conspiracy by 17-year-old Nilkita Casap tied to a neo-Nazi group. Tahalil Mohadeen spoke with people who live in Waukesha County about this twist in the case.
Already facing charges for killing his mother and stepfather, 17-year-old Nilkita Casap from Waukesha became the subject of an extensive FBI search warrant.
It was alarming. I mean, it's not really something that you would think happening in such a small town like Waukesha.
Investigators discovered the teen's self-described manifesto that included making bombs, terrorist attacks, and plans for the assassination of President Donald Trump.
Just mind-blowing.
While investigating Casap in the killings of Tatiana Casap and Donald Mayer, authorities found material linking the teen to the Order of the Nine Angels, a network of neo-Nazis which advocates for violence and the destruction of modern civilizations. Casap calling for Trump's assassination. He wrote, "By getting rid of the president, that is guaranteed to bring in some chaos. Not only that, it will further bring into the public the idea that assassinations and accelerating the collapse are possible." The warrant covered a number of Casap's electronic devices, including his laptop and phone.
That's crazy to me because growing up, we didn't even really have the internet. If I ever have kids, there's definitely going to be parental controls on the internet, that's for sure.
The teen engaged with white nationalists online about his plans, writing, "My parents don't know, LOL. They would take my phone away if they did." Investigators believe Casap may have killed his parents to get the, quote, financial means and autonomy needed to pursue his plan.
It is so true, and the fact that you just never know, what's kind of going on around you.
Investigators say Casap made payments for an attack drone and planned to flee to Ukraine following his proposed assassination. In Waukesha, Tahlil Muhaddin, TMJ4 News.
You know what's sad about this? The media is saying neo-Nazi group. Now, we know how the media is. And we know the first thing they want to do, they love to deflect, right? Let that manifesto be shown. Remember that girl that went into that school with those young children? You may or may not remember, but she unalived like 9 children. And then she was taken down and the manifesto was never released. And she was a transgender person. And guess what? That manifesto was released. It was all types of programming, left-wing extremist stuff. A lot of these young people that are on social media, they don't even realize yet social media is fake. It's not a real world. And unfortunately, there are adults on there who are nothing in their real life. When I say nothing, I mean, they're a human being, not meaning that, but nobody listens to them in their real life. So they jump online and they sound big and intelligent to these young, let's put it like this. they sound smart to dumb people, right? So they get online and they program and they brainwash these children. Now, this person thought that he was speaking with a Russian person about getting to Ukraine. Those two are at war and can't stand each other. He believes that it can be a one-man band or a 3-4 person operation that's going get to the man in the top spot. And then he took the lives of his parents to join forces with some online people that he's never even met in his life. That boy is not right upstairs, and that don't excuse anything. Now, if they find out that he's right mentally upstairs, lock him away and throw away the key. But if he's messed up upstairs, what's done is done. They need to get that boy some help and still lock him up and throw away the key. Because at this age of 17, he'll do it again if he's let out, especially if he's been radicalized. So we're going to wait and let this play out. But I'm a firm believer that this media, what they doing, they're projecting all these fear-mongering things as if what President Trump is doing is wrong. And it's not. And the only reason why they're fear-mongering it because it's affecting the Democrats. You don't see all those protests nationwide. You saw one protest in Boston that they tried to act like, they kept telling us, oh, this is all around the country. Oh, this is everywhere. You know that liberal media would have loved to have Pan at different locations and show massive crowds. Then we find out that the protesters were paid. They were paid $200 for coming to an event. And then if they come to the filmed event, they got $1,000. But to get paid, you have to fill out a questionnaire. And on this questionnaire, there's a whole bunch of left-wing extremist libtard questions that only a left-wing extremist libtard can even answer. If you answer wrong, no fuego, you get no money. If you answer correctly, you get paid. And so imagine the amount of people. And if you noticed in the crowd, if you ever looked at them and seen it, most of those people looked like they were about 60 years old and older. Most were retired, living on a fixed income. That extra money will help. You saw very, very, very little faces of color. Very, very, very few people under the age of 25. And so those group that are 60 years old and older, think about your parents. If they're 60 and older, tell me that they don't still watch the news. My dad does. My mom does. And I tell them, y'all, this is nothing more than an extension of the left wing. This is, you might as well call it state-run media, no different than Cuba or Ukraine right now, where Zelensky's got his state-run media. The government controls their TV and only plays what the government wants the people to see, like that movie 1984. And that's what they were trying to do here. If Kamala would have won, I have no doubt in my mind that that's what it would have been. But this is, I wanted to bring this story because this is just an example of what's happening. If you got young ones, man, I mean, I'm sure you're already doing this. I had 3 children. My children are 24, 25, and 30. And so the internet wasn't really what it is now, but even then I was on them. You know what I'm saying? I was always, checking their history, looking to see, and kept the communication open. If they're listening to music instead of dissing it, I say, hey, let me check that out. And then once I listen to it and get a grasp on it, I know how to attack it and more so kind of get them off of it without making them want to rebel and listen to it even more. I had a parent, my dad didn't like rap music. And the more he wanted to push me away from it, the more it made me want to run to it. So I didn't do that with my sons. Just like with cell phone. Them boys didn't get a smartphone until they were in the 10th grade. By then, they were used to living and interacting with their friends without always being on it. To this day, my sons are not social media junkies at all. Matter of fact, they don't get on there sharing their whole lives. They have pages, but, we kick it. They use it for staying in touch with family, staying in touch with some friends, and, maybe for some business purposes, but they're not on there just showing their whole life to random strangers who probably don't give a damn. And my grandchildren, oh my God, I'm all over their stuff when they're with me. Their parents don't do as good of a job as they should monitoring that, because this is what it leads to. This is what it leads to. So if you got young ones, make sure you on them. And there's nothing wrong. I tell my children all the time, I'd rather you hate me today and 15 years from now, love me, they think I'm the coolest person in the world, and you not be around or alive or free in 15 years. So I don't care about you being mad at me today. Matter of fact, when they were in my house living, it wasn't about being friends. It was about being respected. Now that they're grown and they're off on their own, hey, listen, we have a great relationship and it's different. But at that time, no, I wasn't trying to be your friend. I needed to be respected to save your freaking life. But hey, again, just wanted to jump in and share that. Thank you for watching. If you stuck in there with me this far, hope you I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was informative. It is a sad situation. But either which way, I appreciate you watching. If you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Most importantly, make sure you be safe, be great. I'm Brian Maxwell saying I look forward to seeing you at the top. Over and out, y'all.